Become mentally strong. Train your mind to overcome anything. Introduction. Life isn't always easy. There are days when it feels like everything is working against you, and no matter how hard you try, things just don't seem to go your way. But there's one thing that can make all the difference: your mind. How you think, how you react, and how you handle the challenges you face can either hold you back or push you forward. That's where mental strength comes in. Being mentally strong doesn't mean you don't face problems or feel stress. It doesn't mean you never experience doubt or fear. What it means is that you've trained yourself to respond in a way that helps you move forward no matter the situation. Mental strength is about developing the ability to stay focused, keep your emotions in check, and keep going even when it feels like the world is against you. This isn't something you're born with, it's a skill, one that anyone can learn. It's about making the right choices every day, developing habits that build resilience, and learning to control your thoughts instead of letting them control you. The more you practice, the stronger you'll become, and the more capable you'll feel in facing whatever life throws your way. In this journey, you'll learn how to take control of your mind, handle pressure, break free from negative thinking, and bounce back from setbacks. You'll discover simple, actionable strategies that can help you face fear, build discipline, and keep a clear head during the toughest times. It might not always be easy, but every step you take will make you stronger. It's time to start building the mental toughness that will carry you through life's challenges and help you become the best version of yourself. This is your chance to train your mind to overcome anything. Chapter 1. What it means to be mentally strong. Mental strength is the ability to stay in control of yourself, no matter what is happening around you. Life will test you in many ways. There will be moments when everything seems to go wrong at once. Some people collapse under pressure, while others find a way to push forward. The difference is not in circumstances, but in the way people handle them. Being mentally strong does not mean you never feel emotions or pretend everything is fine when it isn't. It means you develop the ability to face reality head-on without letting it break you. Some people avoid difficulties because they fear pain or discomfort, but avoiding hard situations doesn't make them disappear. Strength comes from facing challenges, not running from them. Think about the people you admire. Whether it's someone in your personal life or a successful person you look up to, chances are they have overcome struggles that most people would have given up on. They weren't born with more resilience than anyone else. They trained their minds to stay strong, no matter what. That is what you must do if you want to handle life's difficulties with confidence. Some people believe mental strength is just about being tough, but there's more to it than that. It's about knowing when to push through and when to take a step back. It's about staying calm when life feels chaotic. It's about controlling your thoughts so they don't spiral out of control. A strong mind allows you to make better decisions, focus on what truly matters, and build the life you want instead of reacting to whatever comes your way. People who lack mental strength often get stuck in negative cycles. When faced with difficulties, they blame others or complain about how unfair life is. They wait for motivation instead of taking action. They allow small problems to ruin their entire day. Over time, these habits create a mindset that makes every challenge feel overwhelming. Instead of learning from failures, they avoid risks altogether. Instead of working on their discipline, they rely on temporary bursts of motivation that fade quickly. They don't realize that mental strength is something that must be built daily, just like physical strength. Those who train their minds to be strong do not let temporary setbacks define them. If something doesn't go their way, they adjust and try again. They understand that challenges are a part of life, not a reason to stop. When negative thoughts appear, they don't let them take over. When emotions run high, they take a step back and respond wisely instead of reacting impulsively. They take full responsibility for their actions, knowing that no one else is going to build their strength for them. One of the biggest signs of mental strength is the ability to keep going even when progress is slow. Many people quit too soon because they expect instant results. They get discouraged when things don't happen as fast as they hoped. But the strongest individuals understand that success takes time. They don't rely on luck or perfect conditions. They focus on small, consistent actions that build real results over time. Every day there are choices to make. You can choose to let frustration take over, or you can train yourself to stay focused. You can let fear stop you from taking action, or you can push forward despite feeling uncertain. You can wait for the right moment, or you can create the right moment by doing what needs to be done. Mental strength is built through these small decisions, repeated every single day. No one is born mentally strong. It's a skill that is developed through experience, practice, and effort. The more you push yourself to stay disciplined, the easier it becomes. The more you face challenges head-on, the less intimidating they seem. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes second nature. Some people look at mentally strong individuals and assume they have it easy. They don't see the discipline, the sacrifices, or the inner battles that happen behind the scenes. Strength isn't something you see right away. It's something that is built over time through actions, habits, and mindset shifts. The more you train your mind, the more control you gain over your life. There will always be things outside of your control. You can't stop every problem from happening, but you can control how you respond. A weak mind gets overwhelmed easily. It gives in to frustration, self-doubt, and fear. A strong mind acknowledges difficulties but doesn't let them take over. Instead of complaining about problems, it looks for solutions. Instead of making excuses, it takes action. Many people spend their lives waiting for change, hoping that things will somehow improve on their own. But nothing truly changes unless you take control of your mindset and make it happen. Building mental strength isn't about making life perfect. It's about making yourself stronger so you can handle whatever comes your way. There will be days when everything feels difficult. There will be moments when your patience is tested, when nothing seems to go right, when giving up seems like the easiest option. But the people who succeed in life are the ones who push through even on the hardest days. They don't let setbacks define them. They don't wait for motivation to come. They make a decision to stay strong and keep going no matter what. Mental strength is not a temporary state. It's not something you develop once and then forget about. It's a way of living, a daily commitment to becoming better, stronger, and more in control of your mind. The more you train your mind, the more unstoppable you become. Chapter 2. Training your mind like a muscle. The mind works just like any muscle in your body. If you don't exercise it, it won't get stronger. If you don't push it to improve, it won't grow. But the moment you start training it, things begin to change. You become more resilient, more focused, and more capable of handling life's challenges. Mental strength isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop through consistent effort and practice. Just as you go to the gym to make your body stronger, you need to do the same for your mind. You may not notice it right away, but over time those small, consistent efforts compound and make you much stronger. Every time you push yourself to think in a more positive way, every time you manage to stay calm in a stressful situation, you're strengthening your mental muscles. But building mental strength requires intentionality. You can't expect it to happen without putting in the work. It's easy to get distracted, to let your mind wander, or to let negative thoughts take over. Mental strength doesn't just come from wishing for it, it comes from taking control. By training your mind, you give yourself the ability to handle whatever life throws your way, no matter how challenging it might seem. The good news is that, just like building physical strength, mental strength is something you can practice every single day. Even small actions can have a huge impact over time, whether it's taking a few minutes to clear your mind, practicing mindfulness, or challenging yourself to stay focused. Every little effort counts. These small exercises are like reps in a gym, and over time, they'll lead to significant results. One of the first things you'll need to do is become more aware of the thoughts you're having. It's easy to let your mind run wild and focus on negative thoughts, or get lost in worries about the future. But when you're training your mind, it's essential to pay attention to your thoughts. Not all thoughts are helpful. Some are simply distractions that hold you back. Others are limiting beliefs that stop you from reaching your full potential. Being able to spot these negative thought patterns is the first step to changing them. Once you're aware of your thoughts, you can choose to focus on ones that help you move forward. You can replace doubt with confidence, fear with courage, and hesitation with action. The next step is to practice self-discipline. Building mental strength is all about developing the ability to make good choices, even when it's difficult. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's not the easy thing. Every time you make a decision that aligns with your goals and values, you're strengthening your mind. Every time you resist the urge to give in to distractions, to procrastinate, or to make excuses, you're becoming more mentally tough. A huge part of mental strength also comes from how we handle challenges. Life isn't always smooth sailing. There are always going to be bumps along the road. But how you handle those bumps will determine how strong you are mentally. When you face challenges, you can either let them knock you down, or you can choose to rise above them. Mentally strong people see obstacles as opportunities to grow, not as roadblocks to their success. They embrace challenges with the mindset that they will learn something from them. Every failure is a lesson, and every setback is a chance to come back stronger. Another important aspect of mental training is learning how to handle stress. Stress is something we all experience, but it's how we manage it that determines our mental strength. When stress hits, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, but mentally strong people know how to step back, take a deep breath, and regain control. Instead of panicking or reacting impulsively, they stay calm and think clearly. This ability to manage stress helps them stay focused, make better decisions, and maintain a sense of inner peace, even when life gets chaotic. Training your mind is also about setting and achieving goals. When you set a goal, it gives you something to work toward. It focuses your energy and helps you stay disciplined. But reaching your goals isn't always easy. It requires patience, persistence, and the ability to push through obstacles. There will be times when you feel like giving up, when the road ahead seems too tough. But mentally strong people don't give up when things get hard. They keep going, even when the going gets tough. They break their goals down into manageable steps and stay consistent, no matter how long it takes. It's important to remember that setbacks are a natural part of the process. No one's journey to mental strength is linear. There will be times when you feel discouraged, or like you're not making progress. But that's normal. What matters is how you respond to those moments. Mentally strong people don't let failure define them. They see it as part of the process. They learn from their mistakes, adjust their approach, and keep moving forward. Building mental strength also means learning to embrace discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. You have to be willing to push yourself, to do things that are challenging, and to face things that make you uncomfortable. Whether it's facing a difficult conversation, taking on a new responsibility, or stepping into the unknown, these moments of discomfort are where growth happens. Every time you challenge yourself, you expand your limits and become stronger. Another key aspect of mental strength is learning how to bounce back after disappointment. Not everything will go your way, and sometimes things won't turn out as you expected. But what matters is how you react. Instead of letting disappointment keep you down, mentally strong people use it as fuel to push forward. They look for the lesson in every failure and use it to come back even stronger the next time. You also need to develop the ability to focus. In a world filled with distractions, staying focused on what's important can be one of the hardest things to do. But the more you practice focus, the better you get at it. Whether it's focusing on a task at work, a personal project, or your overall goals, the ability to stay focused and block out distractions is a powerful mental skill. It's not always easy, but with practice, it becomes second nature. And when you stay focused, you're able to accomplish more and make better progress toward your goals. In addition to focus, you also need to develop a sense of gratitude. When you're constantly striving for more, it's easy to get caught up in what you don't have or what you still need to achieve. But mentally strong people take the time to appreciate what they already have. They recognize the progress they've made and the opportunities they've been given. Practicing gratitude helps you stay grounded and motivated. It reminds you that even in difficult times, there is always something to be thankful for. Building mental strength requires patience. Strength isn't built overnight. It takes time, effort, and consistency. Some days will be harder than others. But as long as you keep working at it, you'll see progress. It's important to be patient with yourself along the way. Growth takes time, but every step you take brings you closer to becoming the mentally strong person you want to be. As you train your mind, you'll notice the difference in how you handle challenges, manage stress, and make decisions. You'll become more resilient, more focused, and more confident. And over time, your mind will become an unshakable foundation for all that you do. With consistent practice, you'll build the mental strength you need to handle anything that comes your way. Chapter 3. Overcoming any obstacle starts in your mind. Everything in life starts with the mind. The way we think shapes our reality and influences how we handle the challenges life throws at us. When you change the way you think, you change the way you experience the world. The truth is, no matter what obstacles or difficulties you face, overcoming them begins in your mind. Your thoughts, your mindset, and your beliefs play a huge role in determining your ability to overcome challenges. If you're mentally strong, you have the ability to face difficult situations without falling apart. You can look at the situation, assess it, and decide the best way to handle it. It doesn't mean that you won't feel stressed or overwhelmed, but it means you can stay focused on finding a solution. When your mind is clear and you're in control of your thoughts, you can approach any problem with confidence and clarity. Your mind is powerful. It's the foundation of everything you do. The way you think affects how you handle adversity, how you approach your goals, and how you react to stress. If your mindset is weak or negative, you will struggle to overcome challenges. But if you can train your mind to stay strong, to stay focused, and to think positively, you can handle anything that comes your way. When it comes to overcoming obstacles, the first thing you need to do is shift your mindset. Too often, when faced with a challenge, we automatically start thinking about all the reasons why we can't succeed. We focus on the obstacles in front of us and the difficulties we'll have to face. Our minds get consumed with all the things that could go wrong. But the key to overcoming any obstacle is to stop focusing on the problem and start focusing on the solution. When you encounter a challenge, instead of getting overwhelmed by fear, worry, or self-doubt, take a step back. Give yourself some space to breathe and think clearly. Ask yourself, what can I do to solve this? Instead of thinking about how impossible the situation is, start thinking about what action you can take to move forward. It's easy to get stuck in the negative cycle of, I can't, or this is too hard. But that's not helpful. When you shift your mindset to one of possibility and action, you open the door to solutions. Instead of letting fear control you, let determination take over. Decide that you will find a way to overcome the challenge, no matter what. This shift in mindset is the first step toward overcoming anything. Another important aspect of overcoming obstacles is staying focused on your long-term goals. When you're in the middle of a difficult situation, it's easy to get distracted by the immediate stress or frustration. You might feel like everything is falling apart and that there's no way out. But if you keep your eyes on the bigger picture, it will help you stay motivated and keep moving forward. Think about your ultimate goals, whether they are personal, professional, or both. Remember why you started on this journey in the first place. Your goals are bigger than any obstacle you face. When you remember that, it becomes easier to push through the challenges. You'll have a clearer sense of purpose, and that will help you stay focused and motivated. It's also important to break the challenge down into smaller steps. When faced with a huge problem, it can feel overwhelming. But if you take it one step at a time, the problem becomes much more manageable. Focus on the next small action you can take to move forward. Don't worry about the entire solution all at once. Just focus on the immediate next step and keep moving forward. There will always be obstacles. Life is full of challenges, and you'll face many of them throughout your life. But the key is to understand that challenges are a normal part of the process. Everyone faces difficulties, and it's how you handle them that sets you apart. When you train your mind to stay focused and positive, you're better equipped to face any challenge that comes your way. The reality is, obstacles don't have to stop you. In fact, some of the greatest successes come from overcoming adversity. It's through challenges that we grow, learn, and develop resilience. The more you face obstacles and work through them, the stronger you become. Over time, you develop a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth, not as insurmountable barriers. It's also crucial to understand that overcoming obstacles isn't always a straight path. There will be setbacks along the way. Things might not go as planned. You may encounter unexpected problems, or you might not get the results you were hoping for. But that doesn't mean you've failed. It simply means you need to adjust your approach. Be willing to pivot, change direction, and find new solutions. Flexibility is a key component of mental strength. One of the biggest mistakes people make when faced with obstacles is giving up too soon. When things get tough, it's easy to want to quit. But mentally strong people don't quit. They keep going, even when it feels like things aren't working out. They know that success doesn't come easily. It takes time, effort, and persistence. And it's that persistence that helps you break through the barriers standing in your way. It's also important to keep a positive attitude. When faced with challenges, it's easy to get discouraged and start thinking negatively. But negativity won't help you solve the problem. In fact, it will only make it worse. A positive attitude keeps you motivated and opens your mind to new possibilities. It allows you to look for solutions instead of focusing on the problem. By staying positive, you shift your mindset to one of possibility, and that will help you overcome anything that comes your way. If you ever feel stuck or overwhelmed, take a moment to reflect on your past successes. Think about the challenges you've already overcome. Remember the times when you thought you couldn't do it, but you did anyway. Those experiences are proof that you are capable of overcoming anything. They are reminders that you have the strength within you to push through any challenge, no matter how difficult it may seem. Surround yourself with people who support you. The people you choose to have in your life can make a big difference in how you handle obstacles. Mentally strong people are often surrounded by others who lift them up, encourage them, and help them stay focused on their goals. Positive, supportive relationships are essential for building mental strength and overcoming challenges. When you face obstacles, it's important to remember that you are not alone. Everyone has to face challenges, and it's okay to seek help when needed. Whether it's a friend, family member, or professional, there's no shame in reaching out for support. Sometimes, talking to someone can give you a fresh perspective and help you see a solution that you might not have noticed before. Overcoming obstacles isn't just about surviving, it's about thriving. When you learn to handle difficulties with grace, resilience, and a positive mindset, you become stronger, more capable, and more confident. Each obstacle you face is an opportunity for you to grow, to develop new skills, and to prove to yourself that you can handle anything that comes your way. As you move forward in life, remember that obstacles are part of the journey. They will come and go, but your ability to overcome them will determine your success. Your mindset, your attitude, and your determination are the keys to pushing through any challenge. So the next time you face an obstacle, don't be discouraged. Embrace it as an opportunity to grow stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Keep going, and you will come out on the other side even better than before. Chapter 4. Mastering your thoughts to stay in control. Our thoughts are incredibly powerful. They shape the way we see the world, the way we respond to challenges, and even the way we feel about ourselves. When you're able to master your thoughts, you take control of your life in ways that you may not have imagined. Every time you let your mind run wild, it can take you to a place of stress, anxiety, or doubt. But when you learn to control your thoughts, you can shape your life in a way that empowers you. You have the power to choose how you respond to any situation. If you react to everything emotionally or let negative thoughts control you, you're giving away your power. Instead, when you learn to master your thoughts, you can make conscious decisions about how you want to react, how you want to feel, and what you want to focus on. By doing this, you put yourself in control and position yourself to be mentally strong. Mastering your thoughts doesn't mean that you won't experience negative thoughts or emotions. It means you can change the way you react to them. It means that you can recognize a negative thought and decide not to give it power. You can choose to replace it with a more positive, constructive thought that helps you move forward. It's about being aware of your thinking patterns and shifting them when necessary to support your goals and overall well-being. One of the first things you need to realize is that not all of your thoughts are true. Sometimes your mind will convince you that something is worse than it really is. It may make you believe that you're not capable of handling something or that things are never going to work out. But these thoughts are often based on fear, doubt, or past experiences, not reality. When you begin to question your thoughts, you'll start to see that many of them are untrue or exaggerated. Once you recognize this, it becomes easier to let go of them and replace them with more empowering beliefs. The key to mastering your thoughts is mindfulness. When you're mindful, you become aware of your thoughts without getting caught up in them. You observe your thoughts instead of letting them control you. This awareness helps you take a step back and assess whether those thoughts are helpful or not. If they're not helping you, you have the ability to change them. One way to master your thoughts is by practicing positive self-talk. The way you speak to yourself plays a huge role in how you feel and how you act. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, that you can't do something, or that things will never improve, you're reinforcing negative beliefs. But when you change the way you talk to yourself, you begin to change the way you think and feel. Start by being kind to yourself. When you make a mistake, instead of beating yourself up about it, acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move on. Encourage yourself like you would encourage a friend. Tell yourself that you are capable, that you can handle challenges, and that you're doing your best. Positive self-talk helps you stay motivated, confident, and focused on your goals. Another powerful tool for mastering your thoughts is visualization. Visualization involves imagining yourself succeeding or overcoming a challenge before it even happens. When you visualize success, your mind begins to believe that it's possible. It helps you build confidence and prepares you for the real thing. Visualization is particularly useful when you're facing a difficult task or challenge. If you're nervous about an upcoming presentation, for example, take a few minutes to close your eyes and picture yourself speaking confidently, engaging the audience, and finishing strong. This mental rehearsal primes your brain for success and helps reduce anxiety. The more you practice visualization, the easier it becomes to stay calm and focused in high-pressure situations. Of course, mastering your thoughts also means learning how to manage negative emotions. We all experience negative emotions like fear, anger, or frustration, but these emotions don't have to control you. When you learn to master your thoughts, you can choose how to respond to these emotions. Instead of letting them dictate your actions, you can acknowledge them and decide how you want to move forward. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you don't have to let that overwhelm take over and lead to stress or panic. You can pause, take a deep breath, and recognize that you're simply feeling overwhelmed. You don't have to act on those feelings right away. By taking control of your thoughts, you can decide to stay calm, focus on finding a solution, and move forward in a positive direction. Another important aspect of mastering your thoughts is letting go of perfectionism. So often, we get caught up in the belief that we have to do everything perfectly. We put pressure on ourselves to be flawless, which creates stress and anxiety. But perfectionism is an illusion. It's impossible to be perfect all the time. And when you focus on perfection, you end up paralyzing yourself and preventing progress. Instead, focus on progress, not perfection. Mastering your thoughts means accepting that mistakes are part of the process and that you don't need to have everything figured out right away. By letting go of the need to be perfect, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and allow yourself to take risks and grow. As you continue to practice controlling your thoughts, you'll notice that you become more resilient in the face of challenges. When negative situations arise, you'll be able to stay calm and focused instead of reacting impulsively. You'll be able to look at the situation objectively, decide how to handle it, and move forward without getting stuck in negative emotions or thoughts. Another key to mastering your thoughts is learning how to manage your time and energy. Your thoughts are influenced by how you spend your time and what you give your energy to. If you're constantly busy, constantly worrying, and constantly surrounded by distractions, your mind will be overwhelmed. But if you manage your time wisely and prioritize what matters, you create space for your mind to focus and stay clear. One way to manage your time and energy is to set boundaries. This means saying no to things that drain you, whether it's unnecessary commitments, toxic relationships, or distractions. By protecting your time and energy, you make room for the things that matter, and you allow your mind to stay focused and clear. You also need to recognize when your thoughts are taking you down a negative path. Sometimes we get so caught up in our thoughts that we forget to take a step back and ask ourselves if they're serving us. If you catch yourself spiraling into negative thinking, take a moment to pause and reassess. Are these thoughts helping you move forward, or are they holding you back? When you become aware of negative thinking patterns, you can redirect your focus to something more positive and productive. Mastering your thoughts also involves accepting the things you cannot change. There will always be situations outside of your control, whether it's other people's actions, unexpected events, or circumstances beyond your influence. But when you master your thoughts, you learn to accept these things and focus on what you can control, your reactions and your mindset. The more you practice controlling your thoughts, the easier it becomes. You'll begin to notice how much your thoughts influence your emotions, your actions, and even your physical state. When you take charge of your thoughts, you take charge of your life. You become more resilient, more focused, and more empowered to handle anything that comes your way. The power to change your life lies within your mind, and mastering your thoughts is the key to unlocking that power. Chapter 5. Becoming emotionally stronger under pressure. In every life, there are moments when you're going to feel pressure. Whether it's a difficult situation at work, a personal challenge, or something unexpected that shakes your world, everyone faces times of stress. The ability to stay emotionally strong in these moments is a huge part of your mental strength. The more you can maintain your emotional composure under pressure, the better you'll be able to handle life's inevitable challenges. Emotionally strong people don't necessarily feel less pressure or stress. They still experience those things, but their reaction to them is different. They've learned how to manage their emotions so that they can think clearly and make better decisions. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by fear, anger, or frustration, they can acknowledge those feelings without letting them take control. They stay focused on what's important, which allows them to act in a way that serves their long-term goals. One of the keys to becoming emotionally stronger under pressure is learning how to regulate your emotions. It's not about pretending that you're okay when you're not. It's about acknowledging what you're feeling, understanding why you're feeling it, and choosing to respond in a way that aligns with your goals. Emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing your emotions. It means not letting them dictate your actions. When you're able to control how you react to your emotions, you regain control over the situation. When emotions run high, it can be easy to say or do things you later regret. Maybe you snap at someone in frustration, or you make a decision out of anger or fear. Emotional regulation helps you avoid these knee-jerk reactions. By taking a moment to pause and assess your feelings, you give yourself the opportunity to choose a more measured response. In these moments, slowing down and giving yourself the space to breathe can make all the difference. Another important aspect of becoming emotionally strong under pressure is building resilience. Life is filled with ups and downs, and your emotional resilience is what helps you bounce back from setbacks and disappointments. Resilient people don't allow temporary difficulties to define them. They understand that tough times don't last, but tough people do. One way to build emotional resilience is to change the way you view challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as insurmountable barriers, see them as opportunities to grow. Every difficulty you face is a chance to learn something new about yourself, to strengthen your emotional core, and to develop the ability to handle even bigger challenges in the future. When you start to shift your perspective on adversity, it becomes easier to handle pressure. You'll begin to see that challenges are a natural part of life, and instead of being intimidated by them, you'll approach them with curiosity and determination. By embracing challenges as part of the process, you'll be able to stay emotionally steady even in the most trying situations. Part of building emotional strength is learning to manage your expectations. Too often, we place unrealistic demands on ourselves and others. We expect perfection, or we think that everything should go smoothly. When things don't meet these expectations, we can feel disappointed or frustrated. But the truth is, life is unpredictable, and things won't always go according to plan. The ability to remain emotionally strong comes from adjusting your expectations to reflect the reality of life. Understand that there will be setbacks, mistakes, and bumps along the way. When you stop expecting everything to be perfect, you open yourself up to more flexibility and less stress. Another important element of emotional strength is learning how to cope with failure. Failure is often seen as something to avoid, but it's a natural part of growth and success. Everyone fails at some point, and how you respond to failure will determine how emotionally strong you are. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of your worth, see it as a lesson. What can you learn from this experience? What can you do differently next time? By reframing failure as a stepping stone rather than an obstacle, you protect yourself from emotional setbacks. Sometimes emotionally strong people are able to stay calm and composed simply because they have a solid sense of self-worth. When you know who you are and what you stand for, it becomes easier to handle pressure. You're less likely to be swayed by the opinions of others or by the external circumstances that might cause stress. Your sense of identity and purpose gives you a foundation to stand on, no matter what's going on around you. One of the challenges many people face when under pressure is the tendency to catastrophize. This is when you blow a situation out of proportion in your mind, imagining the worst possible outcome. Catastrophizing can make you feel completely overwhelmed, but it doesn't reflect reality. When you're able to recognize when you're engaging in catastrophic thinking, you can stop it in its tracks. Pause and ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen, and is that really likely? Chances are, you'll find that the situation is not as bad as you first thought. Another tool for staying emotionally strong is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you stay in the present moment and keeps you from getting lost in worry about the future or regret about the past. When you're under pressure, your mind tends to race, and your emotions can spiral out of control. But mindfulness allows you to ground yourself, to focus on what's happening right now, and to detach from the overwhelming emotions that threaten to take over. Mindfulness can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths and focusing on the sensation of air moving in and out of your body. It's about becoming aware of your thoughts and feelings without judgment, allowing them to come and go without being consumed by them. By practicing mindfulness, you become more aware of your emotional state and better able to manage your reactions to stress. While mindfulness can help you stay emotionally grounded, it's also important to have healthy outlets for stress. Holding on to negative emotions without releasing them can be harmful in the long run. Find activities that help you relieve stress in a positive way. Whether it's exercising, journaling, spending time with loved ones, or engaging in a hobby, make sure you have healthy ways to let go of stress. These activities provide a sense of release and help restore emotional balance. Having a strong support system is also crucial when it comes to managing pressure. No one has to face everything alone. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who encourage you, and who can help you gain perspective during tough times. Having someone to talk to or lean on can make a huge difference in how you handle stress. Emotional strength doesn't mean isolating yourself or trying to go through difficult situations on your own. It's okay to reach out for support. Another factor in staying emotionally strong is maintaining a healthy balance in your life. Overworking, neglecting your physical health, or constantly focusing on one area of your life can all lead to burnout and emotional exhaustion. It's important to find balance and to prioritize your well-being. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental health is essential for staying strong under pressure. Developing emotional strength also means knowing when to let go. Sometimes we hold on to things that no longer serve us, whether it's a toxic relationship, a job that makes us miserable, or an old grievance. Letting go is difficult, but it's necessary for emotional growth. By releasing what no longer serves you, you create space for new opportunities, healthier relationships, and a more peaceful mind. The ability to remain emotionally strong under pressure doesn't happen overnight. It's a skill that takes time and practice to develop. But the more you work on your emotional strength, the more resilient you become. Life will always present challenges, but when you have emotional control, you'll be better equipped to face them. And in doing so, you'll continue to grow stronger, more confident, and more capable of handling whatever life throws your way. Chapter 6. How to overcome fear and self-doubt. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, and self-doubt often sneaks in when we're faced with the unknown. It's part of being human. But it's important to understand that these feelings don't have to control your life. Fear and self-doubt don't define who you are, but how you respond to them can. When you learn to overcome these feelings, you unlock a sense of power that comes from believing in yourself and your ability to handle whatever challenges come your way. Fear is often exaggerated in our minds. It's easy to imagine the worst-case scenario and let it take over. We get wrapped up in our own thoughts, thinking that we're not good enough or that we're bound to fail. But this kind of thinking can paralyze us, keeping us stuck in a cycle of avoidance. When we give in to fear, we stop taking action. We hold back from pursuing opportunities, trying new things, and reaching for our goals. The first step in overcoming fear is recognizing that it's a natural response, but it doesn't need to be feared itself. It's just a feeling, and like all feelings, it will pass. The key is not to let fear control your decisions. Instead, take a step back and assess the situation. Is the fear based on reality, or is it a product of your imagination? Most of the time, when we break down the fear, we see that it's not as big or as dangerous as we originally thought. One of the most effective ways to overcome fear is by confronting it head-on. If you avoid what you're afraid of, the fear only grows stronger. It's like a muscle that gets bigger the more you ignore it. But when you face it, even in small steps, you start to realize that you can handle it. Fear loses its power over you when you stop running from it. Each time you face a fear, no matter how small the challenge, you build confidence in your ability to deal with it. It's important to understand that fear doesn't always disappear just because you face it. It might always be there to some degree, but your ability to take action despite it is what makes you mentally strong. Instead of waiting for fear to go away, learn to act in spite of it. Fear is not a signal to stop. It's a signal to proceed with caution, but also with confidence. Each step you take toward confronting your fear is a victory, no matter how small. Self-doubt often goes hand in hand with fear. It's the voice inside your head that says, "You're not good enough," or "You'll never be able to do it." Self-doubt can be crippling, but just like fear, it doesn't have to control you. The key is to recognize self-doubt for what it is, a thought, not a fact. Just because you doubt yourself doesn't mean you can't succeed. It just means you need to push through that doubt and prove it wrong. When you're feeling self-doubt, one of the best ways to overcome it is to focus on your past successes. Think about the times when you faced challenges and came out the other side stronger. Remember the moments when you pushed yourself, even when you weren't sure you could, and you succeeded. Those experiences are proof that you are capable, even when you doubt yourself. Remind yourself that you've overcome obstacles before, and you can do it again. Self-doubt often stems from forgetting your own capabilities, so take a moment to reflect on all that you've already achieved. Another important part of overcoming fear and self-doubt is to stop comparing yourself to others. In a world where social media often shows only the highlight reels of people's lives, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind. You might see someone else succeeding and think that you'll never be able to reach that level, but the truth is, everyone has their own unique path. What works for someone else may not be the right fit for you, and that's okay. Your journey is yours alone, and it doesn't need to be compared to anyone else's. Focus on your own progress and celebrate the small wins along the way. When you stop comparing yourself to others, you give yourself the freedom to grow at your own pace. In addition, it's essential to shift the way you talk to yourself. Self-talk plays a huge role in how we perceive ourselves and the challenges we face. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, or that you'll never succeed, you're reinforcing those beliefs. Instead, try to replace negative self-talk with positive affirmations. Remind yourself of your strengths and abilities. Even if it feels awkward at first, the more you practice speaking positively to yourself, the more you'll start to believe it. Your words have power, and by choosing words that empower you, you start to change the way you think. Another powerful way to overcome self-doubt is to set realistic goals. When you set goals that are too big or too far out of reach, it can feel overwhelming, which only feeds into self-doubt. But when you break your goals down into smaller, manageable steps, they become much more achievable. Each time you hit a small goal, you prove to yourself that you are capable, and that builds your confidence. As you keep hitting those small milestones, you'll see that you're moving closer to your bigger goals, and the self-doubt will begin to fade. Surrounding yourself with supportive people is also crucial when overcoming fear and self-doubt. People who believe in you, who encourage you, and who remind you of your strengths can help you push past those feelings of uncertainty. It's easy to get caught up in negative self-talk, but having someone in your corner who lifts you up can make all the difference. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to remind you that you're capable and that your doubts are just temporary. When fear or self-doubt creeps in, remember that it's okay to feel that way. It doesn't mean you're weak or incapable. It just means you're human. What matters is how you respond. Every time you acknowledge your fear or self-doubt and choose to take action anyway, you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you think. Overcoming fear and self-doubt is a skill that gets better with practice. The more you face your fears and push through self-doubt, the easier it becomes to do it the next time. Understand that growth and success rarely come without discomfort. The path to reaching your goals is not always smooth, and it's natural to feel fear and self-doubt along the way. But instead of seeing these emotions as roadblocks, see them as signs that you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Every time you step into the unknown, you're growing. Every time you face a fear and take action anyway, you're building your mental strength. By continuing to challenge yourself, you'll find that fear and self-doubt become less powerful over time. They'll always be there, but they won't have the same grip on you. You'll learn to take them in stride and keep moving forward, knowing that you have the ability to handle whatever comes your way. Fear and self-doubt may never disappear completely, but you can learn to rise above them, stronger and more capable than before. Chapter 7: The Power of Self-Discipline in Mental Strength. Self-discipline is the foundation on which all of your goals are built. It's what allows you to stay on course even when things get tough or when you'd rather give up. It's not always easy to stick to your commitments, especially when distractions are everywhere. But the power to succeed in anything comes from your ability to focus on what matters, to prioritize your actions, and to keep going even when motivation fades. The first step in building self-discipline is understanding that it's a choice. You have the power to decide whether you're going to do what needs to be done or if you're going to give in to the easier option. Every time you make the right choice, even when it feels difficult, you're strengthening your discipline. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to stay on track. This isn't about being perfect, it's about making consistent decisions that align with your values and your goals. One of the biggest challenges to self-discipline is procrastination. It's easy to put things off, especially when the task at hand feels overwhelming or unpleasant. But procrastination only makes things worse. The more you delay, the more stress builds up. Tasks seem bigger than they really are, and the fear of starting can paralyze you. The key to overcoming procrastination is breaking tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. Instead of focusing on the entire project, focus on the first step. Once you start, momentum builds, and the rest of the task becomes much easier to tackle. It's also important to recognize that self-discipline isn't just about doing hard things, it's about doing the right things. Often, we get distracted by tasks that feel urgent but aren't necessarily important. We may find ourselves checking social media or responding to emails when we should be working on something that brings us closer to our long-term goals. To build self-discipline, you need to be clear about what matters most. Create a plan that focuses on your priorities and then stick to it. Having a clear sense of purpose will help you resist the temptation of distractions. Creating healthy habits is another key to maintaining self-discipline. The more good habits you have, the less effort it takes to stay disciplined. When actions become automatic, they don't require constant decision-making. For example, if you make a habit of exercising every morning, it becomes part of your routine, and you don't have to think twice about it. You don't have to rely on willpower. Alone, your habits do the work for you. But building good habits isn't always easy. It requires consistency, and consistency requires patience. There will be days when you don't feel like following through, when you're tired or distracted. On those days, it's important to remind yourself of the long-term benefits of sticking to your plan. Even on the tough days, make the smallest possible effort. Just showing up, even if you don't feel like it, is enough to keep moving forward. The key is to not let a single off day derail your progress. Another essential part of self-discipline is learning how to handle failure. There will be times when you don't succeed, when you slip up or miss the mark. When that happens, it's easy to get discouraged and let self-doubt take over. But failure isn't the end, it's part of the process. The most disciplined people are those who are able to bounce back after failure. Instead of seeing failure as a setback, view it as a learning experience. What can you learn from this? How can you improve next time? By taking a growth mindset toward failure, you'll keep moving forward rather than letting a setback hold you back. Self-discipline also involves knowing when to rest. We often think that being disciplined means pushing ourselves to the limit without stopping, but that's not true. Rest and recovery are just as important as hard work. When you're constantly running on empty, your focus and productivity decrease. Taking time to rest, recharge, and clear your mind will actually help you maintain your discipline in the long run. Being disciplined doesn't mean you never take breaks, it means you know how to balance effort with rest so that you can sustain your progress over time. Building self-discipline requires a level of mental toughness. You need to be able to push through the discomfort that comes with doing something you don't want to do. But that doesn't mean you need to be harsh on yourself. The goal is to approach discipline with kindness and patience. Don't beat yourself up if you miss a day or struggle to stay on track. Acknowledge the setback, learn from it, and move forward. Mental toughness isn't about being perfect, it's about being persistent. It's also essential to stay accountable to yourself and others. One way to do this is by sharing your goals with someone you trust. When you have someone to check in with, you're more likely to stay on track because you don't want to let them down. You also have someone to celebrate your successes with, which can keep you motivated. Accountability doesn't mean punishment, it means support and encouragement. It's about having someone who believes in you and holds you to your highest standards. As you build your self-discipline, it's helpful to celebrate small wins along the way. Progress is often slow, and it can be easy to overlook the small steps you're taking. But every time you stick to your plan, even in a small way, you're reinforcing your ability to stay disciplined. Celebrating these small victories helps you stay motivated and reminds you of how far you've come. Every win, no matter how minor it seems, is proof that you're capable of maintaining discipline and staying committed to your goals. Self-discipline doesn't come easily for everyone, and it won't happen overnight. But with practice, it becomes easier. Start by identifying one area of your life where you want to build more discipline. Whether it's your career, health, or personal development, choose one thing to focus on and break it down into small steps. As you build momentum, you'll find that your discipline grows stronger in all areas of your life. With time and commitment, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish when you stay disciplined. Every time you choose to stay disciplined, you're choosing your future. You're choosing to put in the work now so that you can enjoy the rewards later. The path to success is paved with consistent effort, and that effort is built on self-discipline. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about doing the right things day after day and refusing to give up. When you make self-discipline a priority, you're making a commitment to yourself and to your dreams. The more you practice, the more it becomes second nature, and before you know it, your discipline will be one of your greatest strengths. Chapter 8. Breaking Free from Mental Weakness. Mental weakness can show up in many different ways. Sometimes it appears as a lack of confidence, other times as avoidance of challenges, and other times as a tendency to give up too easily when things get hard. It's the part of us that wants to quit when faced with adversity or when things don't go the way we planned. It's the voice that says, "You can't do this," or "It's too difficult, just stop." But mental weakness doesn't define you, and it's something you can overcome. It's not a permanent state, it's just a pattern of thinking and responding that you can change. One of the first steps in breaking free from mental weakness is understanding that it doesn't mean you're broken or incapable. Everyone experiences moments of doubt and weakness, but it's how you respond to those moments that matter. Just because you feel weak at one moment doesn't mean you are weak in general. The key is to recognize when these feelings arise and to develop the tools and mindset to push through them. The first tool you can use to break free from mental weakness is to challenge your thoughts. When you're feeling mentally weak, it's often because your thoughts are filled with negativity or self-doubt. You may tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you're destined to fail. But these thoughts are not the truth, they are just stories you're telling yourself. The first step is to challenge those thoughts. Ask yourself, is this really true? Do I have evidence that supports this thought? Most of the time, the answer is no. Once you start challenging these negative thoughts, you'll find that they begin to lose their power over you. Another way to overcome mental weakness is to build a strong foundation of habits and routines. When life gets tough, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and scattered. But when you have a set routine that you follow each day, it gives you a sense of control. It reduces the number of decisions you have to make, allowing you to focus your energy on what truly matters. Even on your hardest days, sticking to your routines can help you keep moving forward, because the consistency you've built becomes a source of strength. Whether it's a morning workout, reading, or writing, having habits that anchor you helps you push through moments of mental weakness. The next step in overcoming mental weakness is to embrace discomfort. It's easy to avoid things that feel hard or scary, but growth happens when you challenge yourself and step out of your comfort zone. When you choose the easier path, you reinforce the habit of avoiding difficulty, which only strengthens mental weakness. But when you embrace discomfort, you're telling yourself that you're stronger than your fears. Whether it's pushing through a tough workout, starting a difficult project, or having a difficult conversation, facing discomfort head-on builds resilience. Over time, you'll become less afraid of challenges, and you'll start to see them as opportunities for growth rather than threats. One of the most powerful ways to overcome mental weakness is to change your perspective on failure. Failure often feels like a personal defeat, but in reality, it's simply a part of the process. When you fail, it doesn't mean you are a failure. It means that you've learned something valuable. Every failure is an opportunity to improve and grow. When you change your mindset and view failure as feedback rather than defeat, you begin to see setbacks as temporary and manageable. Each time you fail, you get one step closer to success, because you learn what works and what doesn't. The more you embrace failure, the less you'll be afraid of it, and the less it will hold you back. Another key aspect of overcoming mental weakness is practicing self-compassion. When you're struggling, it's easy to be hard on yourself, to criticize yourself for not being strong enough or tough enough. But this only makes things worse. Self-criticism feeds into the negative cycle of mental weakness. Instead of beating yourself up, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself the way you would treat a friend who's going through a tough time. Acknowledge that it's okay to struggle and that setbacks are part of the process. Give yourself permission to be human and make mistakes. Self-compassion doesn't mean you give up. It means you treat yourself with kindness and understanding while continuing to push forward. To break free from mental weakness, it's also important to focus on your strengths. When you're feeling mentally weak, it's easy to focus only on your shortcomings, but this only reinforces the feeling of weakness. Instead, take time to acknowledge your strengths. What are you good at? What have you accomplished in the past that you're proud of? Focus on the things that make you feel strong and use them as a foundation for moving forward. Remind yourself of your abilities and use those reminders as motivation when things get tough. By shifting your focus to your strengths, you begin to shift your mindset from one of weakness to one of confidence. Mentally weak people often avoid taking responsibility for their actions. They blame others or external circumstances for their problems, rather than taking ownership of their decisions and behaviors. Taking responsibility is a powerful tool for breaking free from mental weakness. When you take responsibility, you acknowledge that you have the power to change your circumstances. You stop waiting for things to get better on their own, and you take action to create the changes you want. This doesn't mean blaming yourself when things go wrong. It means acknowledging that you have control over how you respond and that you can make choices that lead to better outcomes. One of the most effective ways to overcome mental weakness is to surround yourself with positive, supportive people. The people you spend time with can have a significant impact on your mindset. If you're surrounded by negative, pessimistic people, their attitudes can rub off on you, reinforcing your own mental weaknesses. But when you surround yourself with people who uplift and encourage you, you begin to see the possibilities for your life rather than the limitations. Positive people inspire you to be better, to keep going, and to believe in your ability to succeed. Choose your circle wisely and make sure you have people who believe in you and your potential. Overcoming mental weakness requires patience and persistence. It's not something that changes overnight, but with consistent effort, you can transform your mindset. Every time you challenge a negative thought, embrace discomfort, or take responsibility for your actions, you're building a stronger mental foundation. It takes time, and it takes effort. But every step you take toward mental strength makes a difference. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to push past moments of weakness and keep moving forward. Mental weakness is something that can be overcome by anyone who is willing to put in the work. It's not about being perfect or never feeling weak. It's about developing the mindset and habits that allow you to rise above those moments. You have the power to choose how you respond to challenges, and by consistently choosing strength, you'll break free from the patterns of mental weakness and become a more resilient, confident version of yourself. Chapter 9. How to stay mentally strong in hard times. Life is never easy all the time, and sometimes we're faced with situations that feel impossible. There are moments when everything seems to be going wrong, when challenges appear that we never expected, and when it feels like we've reached our limit. In those moments, staying mentally strong can feel like the hardest thing in the world. But the truth is, the most resilient people aren't those who never face adversity. They're the ones who learn how to stay strong even when things are tough. When life gets hard, the first thing you need to do is take a step back and breathe. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of emotions and stress when things aren't going your way, but panicking only makes the situation worse. The key to staying mentally strong in difficult times is learning how to manage your emotions. It's okay to feel frustrated, scared, or sad, but those feelings don't have to control you. By taking a moment to center yourself, you can regain a sense of clarity and perspective. Once you've taken a breath and grounded yourself, the next step is to focus on what you can control. In every situation, there are things that are within your control and things that are outside of it. When things get tough, it's natural to want to fix everything, but you can't control the entire situation. Instead, focus on the things you can change. Whether it's your mindset, your actions, or the way you respond, focusing on the things within your power allows you to feel more in control. It also prevents you from feeling helpless in the face of adversity. Another powerful way to stay mentally strong in hard times is to remember your why. Why do you do the things you do? Why do you push forward even when things seem impossible? When you're facing challenges, it's easy to lose sight of your purpose. But reconnecting with your why can reignite your motivation and give you the strength to keep going. Whether it's your family, your goals, or your passion for what you do, remind yourself of the reason you started. Your why is what will keep you moving forward even when everything else feels uncertain. Sometimes the hardest part of facing tough times is the feeling that you're alone. It can feel isolating when you're struggling and don't have anyone to talk to or share your burdens with. But even in your toughest moments, you don't have to go through it alone. Reach out to those you trust, whether it's a friend, family member, or mentor. Opening up about what you're going through doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. You may not always get the answers you want, but having someone to listen can make all the difference. Just knowing that someone understands what you're going through can provide the support you need to keep moving forward. Another key to staying strong during hard times is maintaining a positive outlook. This doesn't mean ignoring the challenges or pretending everything is okay. It's about choosing to see the opportunities in every situation. Even in the most difficult circumstances, there are lessons to be learned, strengths to discover, and growth to experience. When you choose to focus on the positive aspects of a tough situation, you shift your mindset from one of helplessness to one of empowerment, rather than asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Ask yourself, "What can I learn from this?" The more you focus on the positives, the stronger and more capable you become. It's also important to take care of yourself during difficult times. It's easy to neglect your physical and mental well-being when you're stressed or overwhelmed, but taking care of yourself is more important than ever in hard times. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and relaxation are all essential for maintaining your strength. When you're exhausted or run down, it's harder to think clearly and make good decisions. By taking care of your body, you give yourself the energy and focus you need to handle the challenges in front of you. Sometimes, staying mentally strong means accepting that things may not go as planned. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when things don't turn out the way you hoped. Rather than resisting or fighting against these changes, learn to adapt. Flexibility is an important aspect of mental strength. When you can adjust to new circumstances and keep moving forward, you become more resilient in the face of adversity. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up, it means recognizing that some things are beyond your control and finding the strength to keep going regardless. Another essential strategy for staying mentally strong is to focus on the present moment. When things are difficult, it's easy to become consumed by worries about the future or regrets about the past. But the only moment you can control is the present. Focusing on the here and now allows you to take action rather than getting lost in thoughts that only add to your stress. Break down your challenges into small, manageable steps. What's the next thing you can do right now to move forward? By focusing on what you can do in the present moment, you reduce the overwhelming feelings of fear and uncertainty that often accompany tough times. There will be times when your strength will be tested beyond what you think you can handle. It's in these moments that your character is forged. When everything feels like it's falling apart, the way you respond to the situation will define who you are. It's not about avoiding pain or hardship, it's about finding the strength within yourself to keep going, no matter how hard it gets. When you choose to stay mentally strong in the face of adversity, you not only grow stronger, but also gain a deeper understanding of your own capabilities. It's also important to remember that hard times don't last forever. No matter how long the storm lasts, it will eventually pass. Life has a way of moving forward, and your difficult circumstances will eventually be behind you. Remind yourself that what you're going through is temporary, and that brighter days are ahead. Sometimes, just holding on and continuing to take small steps forward is enough to get through the tough times. Know that even in the hardest times, you are capable of more than you realize. The strength that you have within you is often greater than the challenges you face. In those moments when you feel like giving up, dig deeper. Find that reserve of strength you didn't know you had and keep moving forward. The hardest battles often produce the greatest victories, and by staying mentally strong, you will not only survive tough times, but come out of them stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Chapter 10. Turning Pain and Struggles into Strength. There are moments in life when everything feels overwhelming, when you're struggling, when things aren't going your way, and when it seems like the world is closing in on you. During these times, it can feel like the pain you're experiencing will never end. But pain, as difficult as it is, can also be a powerful source of strength. It's not something we choose to experience, but it's something we all face at one point or another. And the way we respond to that pain makes all the difference. Pain can come in many forms. It might be physical pain, the kind that leaves you feeling exhausted and drained. It might be emotional pain, the kind that cuts deep and makes you question everything. Or it could be mental pain, the stress and pressure of juggling responsibilities or dealing with failure. No matter what form it takes, pain is a universal experience. What sets us apart is how we handle it. When faced with pain, many people's instinct is to avoid it or to run from it. We want to numb the feelings, push them away, or pretend they don't exist. But avoiding pain only makes it more difficult to move past it. The longer we try to escape it, the more it lingers. Instead of avoiding it, the key to turning pain into strength is to face it head-on. Acknowledge it, accept it, allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. By confronting pain directly, you begin to take control over it instead of letting it control you. One of the most empowering things you can do when you're in pain is to change the way you look at it. Instead of viewing pain as something that's going to destroy you, see it as something that can help you grow. Pain often teaches us lessons we wouldn't otherwise learn. It forces us to evaluate our lives, our choices, and our goals. It opens our eyes to what truly matters. Pain can push you to make changes in your life that will lead to growth and improvement. Every difficult experience holds a lesson, and it's up to you to find it. When you're experiencing pain, it's also important to practice patience. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and recovery takes time. It's easy to become frustrated when progress feels slow, But the key is to keep moving forward, even if it's just one small step at a time. Every day that you keep going, you are making progress. Even if it feels like you're not getting anywhere, trust that the small steps are adding up. Healing is a journey, not a race. And every challenge you face, every painful moment you push through, adds to your strength. One of the most powerful ways to turn pain into strength is to find meaning in it. When you experience something painful, it can often feel pointless, like it's just something bad that's happening to you for no reason. But pain doesn't have to be meaningless. It's up to you to find purpose in the struggle. Whether it's learning something new about yourself, growing stronger emotionally, or finding a deeper sense of empathy for others, pain can provide you with a new perspective. By finding meaning in your pain, you turn it from something that's holding you back into something that drives you forward. Another important aspect of turning pain into strength is learning how to let go of the things you cannot change. It's easy to hold on to pain and let it define us, but sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to release it. Holding on to pain from the past only keeps us stuck. It doesn't allow us to move forward. By learning to forgive, whether it's others or yourself, you free yourself from the burden of that pain. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting what happened and choosing to move forward with a sense of peace. The way you take care of yourself during times of pain also plays a huge role in your ability to overcome it. It's easy to neglect your well-being when you're struggling, but self-care is more important than ever in difficult times. Taking care of your body, getting enough sleep, eating well, and staying active will help you manage the stress that comes with pain. Even small acts of self-care, like taking a warm bath or going for a walk, can help you recharge and heal. Remember, your mind and body are connected, and by taking care of your physical health, you strengthen your ability to handle emotional and mental pain. When you experience pain, it's also important to remember that you are not alone. It's easy to feel isolated when you're going through something tough, but the truth is that everyone has their own struggles. No one is immune to pain, and the more we share our experiences with others, the less alone we feel. Talk to someone you trust about what you're going through. Sometimes, just having someone listen can make a huge difference. You don't have to carry the weight of pain by yourself. Reaching out for support is a sign of strength, not weakness. Turning pain into strength also involves building resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity. It's the inner strength that allows you to recover from setbacks and keep moving forward, no matter what life throws your way. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you develop over time. Every time you face pain and keep going, you build resilience. Every challenge you overcome adds to your ability to handle future difficulties. With each experience, you become stronger and more capable of facing whatever comes next. Another key to turning pain into strength is keeping a sense of hope. Hope is what keeps us going when things seem impossible. It's the belief that things will get better, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. When you're in pain, it can be hard to hold on to hope, but it's essential to remember that pain is temporary. It will pass. The road may be long, but there is a way through it. Hope gives you the strength to keep going, even when you feel like giving up. It's the reminder that better days are ahead, even if they seem far away. Sometimes pain can lead to a deeper sense of gratitude. When you experience loss or hardship, it helps you appreciate the things you have and the people in your life. Pain has a way of shifting our perspective and reminding us of what truly matters. When we go through difficult times, we often come out of them with a renewed sense of appreciation for the good things in our lives. Gratitude is a powerful tool that can help you stay strong in the face of pain, allowing you to focus on what's going well instead of what's going wrong. There will be times when the pain feels unbearable, when it seems like you'll never be able to get through it. But the truth is, you are stronger than you think. Pain doesn't define you, it's just a part of your journey. It doesn't determine who you are or what you're capable of. The way you respond to pain is what shapes you. When you choose to keep going, to find meaning in the struggle, and to embrace the lessons pain teaches you, You turn it into a source of strength. And when you come out on the other side, you'll find that you're not just surviving, you're thriving, stronger and more resilient than ever before. Chapter 11. Eliminating weak excuses from your mindset. Excuses are powerful. They can hold us back and keep us from achieving our goals. And if we're not careful, they can become a permanent part of our lives. At first, excuses seem harmless. They can feel justified, like something that's out of our control or a reasonable explanation for why we didn't accomplish something. But over time, those little excuses add up. They become patterns, and before we know it, they've created a mindset that limits us. The more we make excuses, the more we allow them to control our lives and dictate what we can or can't do. The truth is that every excuse we make is a barrier to our growth. It's a way of saying, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough. It's a mental roadblock that prevents us from reaching our full potential. But if we want to grow, to move forward, and to become stronger, we need to stop making excuses. We need to start taking responsibility for our actions and choices. Every time we make an excuse, we give away our power. We tell ourselves that something outside of us is in control, and that's exactly the opposite of what we need if we want to become mentally strong. The first step in breaking free from excuses is to recognize them for what they are. It's easy to justify our behavior, especially when we feel overwhelmed or discouraged. But if we're honest with ourselves, we know when we're making an excuse. Maybe it's telling ourselves we don't have enough time, or that we're not ready, or that we don't have the right resources. These excuses are just ways of protecting ourselves from discomfort, from failure, or from the hard work that's required to succeed. But no matter how valid an excuse may seem, it's still an excuse. And if we want to move forward, we have to stop using them as crutches. Once we recognize our excuses, the next step is to challenge them. Every excuse we make is based on a belief or a story we're telling ourselves. If we tell ourselves that we don't have enough time, we need to ask, is that really true? Can I find time for what matters? If we tell ourselves that we're not good enough, we need to question that belief. What evidence do I have that proves I'm not capable? Challenging our excuses forces us to confront the beliefs that are holding us back. It allows us to see the truth, that we are in control, that we have the power to choose how we respond to our circumstances. The next step in eliminating excuses is to take responsibility for our actions. It's easy to blame external factors for our failures or setbacks. We blame our job, our relationships, our environment, or even the people around us. But the reality is that we are responsible for our own actions and choices. No one can make us do anything we don't choose to do. When we take responsibility for our lives, we stop making excuses and start taking ownership of our future. We stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it ourselves. It's important to recognize that responsibility doesn't mean blame. Taking responsibility doesn't mean that we're at fault for everything that happens in our lives, but it does mean that we have the power to change the outcome. We can't control everything that happens, but we can control how we respond. And by choosing to take responsibility for our choices, we take back the power that excuses try to steal from us. Another powerful tool for overcoming excuses is developing a strong sense of accountability. When we hold ourselves accountable for our actions, we make it harder to justify excuses. Accountability means setting clear goals, tracking progress, and being honest with ourselves about what we've accomplished and what we still need to do. It's easy to let things slide when we're not answerable to anyone, but when we have someone or something holding us accountable, we're more likely to stay on track. Whether it's a friend, a mentor, or simply a written commitment to ourselves, accountability helps keep us focused and motivated. It pushes us to follow through on our promises and to avoid the trap of excuses. The power of accountability also lies in the ability to review our progress and adjust our approach. When we make excuses, we avoid looking at where we might be going wrong. But when we hold ourselves accountable, we have the opportunity to reflect on our actions and learn from them. If something isn't working, we can change it. If we're not making progress, we can identify the roadblocks and figure out how to overcome them. Accountability turns every challenge into an opportunity for growth. Another way to eliminate excuses is by shifting our mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance. When we focus on what we don't have, whether it's time, resources, or skills, we create excuses. We convince ourselves that we're not capable, that we can't succeed because we don't have everything we need. But when we shift our mindset to one of abundance, we start to see the opportunities around us. We realize that we already have what we need to get started, even if we don't have everything figured out yet. Instead of making excuses for why something is impossible, we start looking for ways to make it possible. An abundance mindset opens the door to creativity and problem solving, while a scarcity mindset keeps us stuck in the same place. It's also important to recognize that progress isn't always linear. Success doesn't happen overnight, and there will be times when we stumble or fall short of our goals. But when we make excuses, we use setbacks as reasons to give up. Instead, we need to see setbacks as part of the process. Failure isn't permanent, it's a learning experience. Every time we try and fail, we learn something valuable that gets us closer to success. Embracing failure as a necessary part of growth helps us overcome the fear of making mistakes and stops us from using setbacks as excuses to quit. One of the most powerful ways to stop making excuses is to build a strong why for everything we do. When we have a clear sense of purpose and motivation, it becomes much harder to make excuses. Our why is what drives us when things get tough, when we feel like giving up, and when excuses start creeping in. The stronger our why, the less room there is for excuses. Our purpose gives us the determination to push through challenges and the clarity to stay focused on our goals. Making excuses is a habit, and like any habit, it takes time and effort to break. But the more we practice taking responsibility, challenging our beliefs, and holding ourselves accountable, the easier it becomes to eliminate excuses from our lives. Over time, we develop a mindset of action where excuses no longer hold power over us. Instead, we see obstacles as opportunities to grow and challenges as chances to prove ourselves. When we stop making excuses, we start taking full control of our lives and create the space for true success. Chapter 12. How to train your mind for long-term success. In a world where everything moves so fast, we often feel like we have to be constantly on the go, constantly busy. But the truth is that being busy isn't the same as being productive, and just because you're moving doesn't mean you're making progress. To achieve long-term success, it's not enough to just react to what happens around you. You need to train your mind to be focused, to think ahead, and to align your daily actions with your bigger goals. This is the key to training your mind for long-term success. Building a mindset that supports long-term success starts with developing clarity about your goals. Without clear goals, it's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and feel like you're making progress, when in reality, you're just going in circles. Clear goals give you direction. They act as a map for where you want to go and help you make decisions about how to get there. They prevent you from getting distracted by things that don't align with your ultimate vision. But clarity isn't just about knowing what you want. It's about understanding why you want it. Your why is the foundation of your goals. It's the reason you keep going even when things get tough. If your goals are just about surface-level achievements, like a bigger paycheck or a promotion, those things may motivate you in the short term. But if you don't have a deeper reason for why you're pursuing those goals, it's easy to lose focus when challenges arise. When your goals are tied to something bigger, something that speaks to your values, your passions, and your purpose, it becomes easier to stay focused and keep moving forward. It's the difference between setting a goal because you should and setting a goal because you're deeply committed to it. When your why is clear, it becomes the fuel that keeps you going even when the road gets rough. The next step in training your mind for long-term success is building resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks, to keep going when things get hard, and to learn from failure instead of letting it defeat you. It's an essential part of mental strength. Without resilience, the first sign of difficulty can make you want to quit, and you'll never achieve long-term success if you're not willing to push through the inevitable challenges that come your way. Building resilience starts with accepting that setbacks are a natural part of the process. There is no straight path to success. You'll face challenges, you'll make mistakes, you'll hit roadblocks. But those obstacles don't define you. They're simply part of the journey. The key is not to avoid failure, but to learn from it and keep moving forward. The more you can embrace failure as a learning experience, the more resilient you become. One of the most important factors in building resilience is developing the right mindset, a mindset that sees failure as feedback rather than a reason to give up. When you adopt this perspective, you can stay calm in the face of adversity and keep your focus on solutions instead of problems. Instead of saying, "I can't," you start saying, "How can I?" And "What can I learn from this?" When you view every setback as an opportunity to grow, you start to see obstacles in a different light. You begin to approach challenges with curiosity instead of fear. In addition to resilience, consistency is another key component of long-term success. Consistency is what turns small daily actions into big results over time. It's easy to get excited about a new goal and put in a lot of effort at the beginning, but long-term success requires a steady, consistent effort. Success doesn't come from short bursts of intense activity. It comes from showing up every day, even when it feels difficult, even when you don't see immediate results. Building consistency starts with creating habits. Habits are powerful because they make the things you need to do automatic. When something becomes a habit, it doesn't require a lot of mental energy or willpower to do it. It becomes part of your routine. The more you practice positive habits, the more they become ingrained in your daily life. This creates momentum, and over time, that momentum propels you toward your goals. To develop consistency, it's important to start small. Trying to make huge changes all at once can be overwhelming and lead to burnout. Instead, focus on making small improvements each day. Whether it's dedicating a few minutes each day to a new skill or committing to exercise a few times a week, consistency is built on the foundation of small, manageable actions. These small actions add up over time and lead to significant progress. Another essential part of training your mind for long-term success is learning to manage your time effectively. Time is one of the most valuable resources you have, and how you spend it can determine the outcome of your goals. Time management is about making intentional choices about where you focus your energy. It's about prioritizing the things that move you closer to your goals and eliminating distractions that pull you away from them. Effective time management starts with understanding where your time is going. Most of us spend a lot of time on things that don't really move us toward our goals. Whether it's mindlessly scrolling through social media or attending meetings that aren't relevant to our priorities, these time drains add up. By becoming more aware of how you spend your time, you can start to make more conscious choices about where to invest it. Once you've identified time wasters, the next step is to prioritize. Look at your goals and figure out what activities will have the biggest impact on achieving them. What tasks will bring you closer to your vision? Focus on those tasks first, and don't forget to make time for rest and self-care. Burnout is one of the biggest obstacles to long-term success, and taking care of yourself is just as important as working hard. In addition to time management, cultivating a growth mindset is another essential element in training your mind for success. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. People with a growth mindset embrace challenges and view failures as opportunities to improve. They understand that success is not just about natural talent, but about hard work, perseverance, and learning from mistakes. Adopting a growth mindset requires changing the way you view challenges and setbacks. Instead of seeing failure as a reflection of your abilities, you start to see it as a temporary obstacle that you can overcome with effort and persistence. When you embrace challenges, you open yourself up to new opportunities for growth and development. A growth mindset helps you stay motivated, even when things get tough, because you believe that you can learn, improve, and ultimately succeed. Training your mind for long-term success is about more than just achieving a goal. It's about building the habits, mindset, and resilience to keep growing, no matter what happens. It's about taking consistent action, learning from your mistakes, and staying focused on your bigger vision. When you train your mind for long-term success, you position yourself to not only reach your goals, but to continuously evolve and improve throughout your life. Chapter 13. The Mindset of Never Giving Up. The journey to success isn't a straight line, and it's not always easy. There are moments when everything seems like it's going perfectly, and then there are moments when it feels like nothing is going right. The key to making it through those moments is having a mindset that refuses to give up. When things get tough, it's easy to want to quit, to think that maybe you're not cut out for it, or to wonder if it's all just too much. But the truth is, you have everything you need inside you to keep going. The only thing that can stop you is your own willingness to quit. One of the hardest parts about the journey to success is that it's rarely immediate. It takes time, effort, and sometimes a lot of failures along the way. The first few steps can feel discouraging because you're not seeing the results you hoped for, or you're hitting roadblocks that make you question your ability. But success doesn't happen overnight, and the process of getting there is often more valuable than the destination itself. In those moments when quitting feels like the easiest option, it's important to remind yourself of why you started in the first place. Think about your goals and the reasons behind them. Remember the passion, the excitement, and the vision that inspired you to take that first step. When the going gets tough, those reasons are what will keep you moving forward. They'll remind you that the temporary discomfort or setback is just part of the process and that you're capable of handling it. The ability to persist, even when the situation seems bleak, is one of the most important qualities of successful people. It's not that they don't face challenges or failures, they do. But what sets them apart is their ability to keep going when others would give up. They understand that setbacks are not a reflection of their worth or potential, they're just part of the journey. Instead of letting those setbacks define them, they use them as stepping stones to learn, grow, and get closer to their ultimate goals. Part of this resilience comes from developing mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to stay focused and calm under pressure. It's about being able to handle stress, disappointments, and difficult situations without losing sight of your goals. The stronger your mental toughness, the easier it becomes to keep moving forward, no matter what obstacles are in your way. One way to build mental toughness is by practicing patience. This means being willing to put in the work without expecting instant rewards. It means understanding that results take time and that the process is as important as the outcome. When you are patient, you stop getting frustrated by delays or setbacks, and you learn to trust that if you keep doing the right things consistently, success will eventually follow. Another important aspect of not giving up is developing a strong sense of belief in yourself. Self-doubt is one of the biggest obstacles to success. It can stop you in your tracks, convince you that you're not good enough, and make you second-guess your abilities. But self-doubt is just a feeling, and feelings are not facts. It's essential to recognize that everyone experiences self-doubt at some point. What matters is how you choose to respond to it. Instead of letting self-doubt control you, remind yourself of your past successes and the skills and strengths that have brought you this far. Believing in yourself doesn't mean that you'll never feel unsure. It means that when those feelings of doubt creep in, you don't let them stop you from taking action. You acknowledge the fear, but you don't let it dictate your decisions. Confidence comes from action, not from waiting for the perfect moment. The more you push through self-doubt, the stronger your belief in yourself becomes. Another key factor in refusing to give up is developing the ability to adapt. The road to success is rarely a straight line, and it's important to stay flexible along the way. Things won't always go according to plan. Unexpected challenges will come up, and you may need to adjust your approach. Flexibility doesn't mean giving up on your goals. It means being willing to find new ways to reach them. Sometimes the most successful people are the ones who are able to adapt the quickest, not necessarily the ones who have the most elaborate plans. If something isn't working, don't be afraid to change your strategy. The willingness to adapt is a key component of long-term success. The more adaptable you become, the less likely you are to feel defeated by obstacles. Instead of seeing setbacks as roadblocks, you start to view them as opportunities to find new solutions and learn new things. This mindset allows you to keep moving forward, even when things don't go as expected. You may not always be able to control your circumstances, but you can control how you respond to them, and that response can make all the difference. A mindset of persistence and resilience also means understanding that the journey will have ups and downs. Success doesn't happen in a straight line, and the path to it isn't always smooth. There will be times when you feel like you're making progress and others when it seems like you're stuck in a rut. But if you keep pushing forward, even when things get difficult, you'll eventually reach the other side. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come after the toughest times. The key is to keep going, even when the road seems long or when you feel like giving up. Building a mindset that refuses to quit is a process, and it takes time. It's about developing habits and thought patterns that keep you moving forward, even when you face obstacles. It's about recognizing that setbacks don't define you, and they don't determine your future. What matters is how you respond to those setbacks and how you keep pushing toward your goals. With each challenge you face, you build your mental strength and resilience. And with each small victory, you prove to yourself that you're capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. The journey to success may not be easy, but the rewards are worth it. The confidence, the satisfaction, and the pride that come from knowing you didn't give up, even when it was hard, are priceless. So, when things get tough, remember that you have everything it takes to keep going. You are stronger than you think, and the only way to truly fail is to quit. Keep going, no matter what. The finish line is closer than you think, and you have what it takes to reach it. Chapter 14. How to build a daily mental strength routine. Success isn't something that just happens by accident. It doesn't arrive at your door one day because you hoped for it or because you had a good idea. Success comes from the decisions you make every day, from the habits you build, and from the small, consistent actions you take. And when it comes to mental strength, creating a daily routine that supports your goals is one of the most powerful things you can do. You can't expect to grow stronger mentally if you're not intentional about it. Like physical fitness, mental fitness requires dedication and effort. A workout for your mind isn't something you can do once a week and expect to see results. It's something you need to incorporate into your life every single day. It's about building habits that reinforce your goals, that push you to become better, and that help you build resilience. One of the most important steps in building a routine is recognizing the power of small actions. People often look for big, dramatic changes when they want to improve themselves. They want to make a huge leap, but in reality, success comes from the smaller, quieter steps that you take each day. It's those little choices you make when no one is watching that add up to something significant. Take a moment to think about the habits you currently have. Are they serving you? Are they helping you grow stronger? Or are they keeping you stuck in a loop of distraction and self-doubt? If you want to train your mind to be mentally strong, you need to actively choose habits that push you in the right direction. For some, that might mean taking the time every morning to center themselves before starting their day. This could be as simple as taking a few minutes to breathe deeply, to focus on what you're grateful for, or to visualize your goals. Starting your day with intention sets the tone for everything that follows. You'll be more focused, more grounded, and more prepared to handle whatever challenges come your way. For others, it might be committing to learning something new every day. Mental strength is not just about surviving tough times, it's about growing through them. Whether it's reading a book, listening to a podcast, or practicing a new skill, expanding your mind and knowledge is key to building resilience. The more you learn, the more confidence you'll have in your ability to face challenges. You'll realize that there's always something to be learned from any situation, no matter how difficult. You also need to get comfortable with discomfort. Growth doesn't happen when everything is easy. The moments that challenge you, that stretch you beyond your comfort zone, are the moments that will make you stronger. That means you have to get used to doing things that push you. Whether that's tackling a difficult task, having a tough conversation, or simply doing something you've been putting off, these challenges are opportunities to strengthen your mental muscle. Setting clear goals is another important part of building a daily routine. Goals give you something to work toward, something to keep you motivated. But don't just set goals for the sake of setting them. Make sure your goals are meaningful to you. They should be things that truly matter and reflect what you want out of life. When your goals align with your values, you'll have a deeper level of motivation and drive to keep working toward them. As you move through your day, you need to make sure that you're staying aligned with your bigger vision. Every action you take, whether it's choosing to work on a task or deciding to take a break, should be a conscious decision that aligns with your goals. It's easy to get distracted by the day-to-day demands of life. We all have obligations, responsibilities, and things that need to get done. But if you don't take control of how you spend your time, you'll find yourself drifting, unsure of where you're headed. That's why having a daily routine is so important. When you start each day with a clear plan and a set of priorities, you make it easier to stay focused and productive. It's about creating habits that work for you, not against you. If you don't already have a routine, start small. Choose 1 or 2 things that you know will help you move closer to your goals. Maybe it's writing down your goals every morning or taking 10 minutes to meditate. Whatever it is, commit to it and make it a non-negotiable part of your day. Over time, these small daily actions will start to compound. You might not notice the changes at first, but if you keep showing up, you'll start to see the results. Your mind will get stronger, more resilient. You'll find it easier to stay calm under pressure. You'll become better at handling stress and more confident in your ability to achieve what you set out to do. A daily routine isn't just about setting goals and checking them off your to-do list. It's also about taking care of yourself. Mental strength doesn't just come from doing the hard work, it comes from ensuring that you're in the right mental and physical state to do that work. That means getting enough rest, eating well, exercising, and taking care of your emotional well-being. When you're physically healthy and emotionally balanced, you'll have more energy, focus, and clarity to do the work that matters. But consistency is key. It's easy to start strong, but the true test is sticking with it, especially when life gets busy or you hit a rough patch. In those moments, it's important to remind yourself that this is the process. It's not about being perfect. It's about showing up each day, even if it's just a little bit. Even if you can't do everything you planned, do something. Keep the momentum going, no matter how small the step. Success, both mental and personal, isn't a destination. It's a journey. Building mental strength is not something you can do once and then forget about. It requires ongoing effort, practice, and commitment. But the good news is that the more you commit to building a strong, disciplined routine, the easier it becomes to keep going. You'll start to notice the positive changes in your mindset, your attitude, and your results. And when you see the progress, you'll realize that every moment spent building your routine was worth it. Creating a daily mental strength routine is one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. It's not about making huge, sweeping changes all at once. It's about making consistent, small choices that add up over time. Whether it's taking time each morning to center yourself, tackling challenges that push you, or simply staying focused on your goals. These actions will help you become stronger, more resilient, and more focused on what truly matters. Over time, they'll build a foundation that you can rely on when life gets tough, and you'll find yourself facing challenges with a sense of confidence and determination that will carry you to success. Chapter 15. Protecting your mind from negativity. Your mind is one of your most powerful tools, but just like any tool, it needs to be protected. It needs to be shielded from negativity, distractions, and influences that drain your energy or derail your focus. If you want to stay mentally strong, you have to learn how to guard your mind against all the things that can weaken it. Think about the people and situations you interact with daily. Are they supporting your growth, or are they draining you? It's important to be aware of who and what you let into your mental space. Negative people, constant stress, and toxic environments can chip away at your confidence, your energy, and your ability to stay focused on your goals. You have to set boundaries and make choices that prioritize your mental well-being. One of the most common sources of negativity is social media. It's easy to get sucked into endless scrolling, comparing yourself to others, and letting your mood be influenced by what you see online. The thing is, most of what we see on social media is curated, filtered, and often far from reality. Yet, we internalize it as if it's the truth. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy, frustration, or jealousy. If you want to protect your mind, you need to be conscious of how much time you spend on these platforms and what you expose yourself to. Be mindful of the accounts, posts, and messages you engage with. If something makes you feel worse about yourself or distracts you from your goals, it's time to cut it out. The people in your life also play a huge role in shaping your mental environment. If you're surrounded by negativity, whether it's constant complaints, criticism, or a lack of support, it's going to be much harder for you to stay strong mentally. That doesn't mean you should cut people out of your life at the first sign of negativity, but it does mean that you need to set boundaries, protect your energy, limit your exposure to toxic conversations or situations. Don't let other people's negativity become your reality. It's also important to be mindful of your internal dialogue. We all have an inner voice that speaks to us throughout the day, and, more often than not, this voice can be incredibly harsh. It can tell you that you're not good enough, that you'll never achieve your goals, or that you're not capable of handling challenges. The problem is, if you listen to this voice without questioning it, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Negative thoughts feed on themselves, and before long, you're spiraling into doubt and self-criticism. To protect your mind, you need to challenge these thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, stop and reframe it. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," try thinking, "I might not know how to do this yet, but I'm learning." Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," remind yourself of past successes and strengths. Your thoughts have power, so make sure you're speaking to yourself in a way that reinforces your mental strength. Another key part of protecting your mind from negativity is learning how to manage stress. Stress is unavoidable, it's a part of life, but how you handle it can make all the difference. When you're stressed, it can be easy to slip into a negative mindset. You might feel overwhelmed, anxious, or like you're losing control. But if you want to stay mentally strong, you need to learn how to respond to stress in a healthy way. This means finding effective coping mechanisms. Some people find relief through exercise, while others turn to journaling, deep breathing, or spending time in nature. Experiment with different techniques and find what works best for you. The goal is to give yourself the tools you need to stay calm and clear-headed, even in the midst of chaos. Along with managing stress, it's important to practice self-compassion. We're often our harshest critics, and we can be quick to judge ourselves when things go wrong. But being too hard on yourself can make it harder to bounce back. When you make a mistake or face a setback, instead of beating yourself up, treat yourself with kindness. Acknowledge that everyone makes mistakes and that failure is a part of the journey. Being compassionate with yourself will help you recover faster, maintain your confidence, and keep you on track toward your goals. Part of protecting your mind is also about taking care of your body. Physical health and mental health are deeply connected. If you're not taking care of your body, it's going to be harder to maintain mental clarity and emotional balance. This means getting enough sleep, eating nourishing foods, staying active, and taking time to relax. When you're physically well, you'll have more energy and focus to tackle the challenges that come your way. It's easy to overlook self-care, especially when life gets busy, but it's essential if you want to stay mentally strong. Another factor that can impact your mental state is the amount of time you spend worrying. Worry is a natural human response to uncertainty, but it can easily spiral into something unproductive if you let it. Worrying about things you can't control only wastes your energy and takes up mental space that could be used for more positive, productive thoughts. To protect your mind, you need to learn how to stop worrying about things that are out of your control. Instead, focus on what you can do. When you catch yourself worrying, pause and ask yourself, is this something I can control or change right now? If the answer is no, let it go. Trust that you are doing everything you can and focus on the present moment. Protecting your mind means giving yourself permission to disconnect. In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly plugged in, whether it's to our phones, computers, or even to the demands of others. But it's important to step away sometimes and give your brain the space it needs to recharge. This might mean taking a break from work, social media, or anything that feels overwhelming. Use that time to reconnect with yourself, to relax, and to focus on what brings you peace. When you allow yourself to disconnect, you'll find that you come back stronger, with a clearer mind and a refreshed perspective. Staying mentally strong isn't about avoiding negativity altogether, because that's impossible. It's about learning how to protect yourself from it and respond in a way that reinforces your resilience. The more you become aware of the things that drain you, the more you'll be able to guard against them. Protecting your mind means setting boundaries, managing stress, practicing self-compassion, taking care of your body, and learning how to release worry. By making these practices a part of your life, you'll be better equipped to handle whatever comes your way with a clear, focused, and strong mindset. You've just learned how to start building the mental strength you need to face life's challenges head-on. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress and taking small, consistent steps every day. Remember, your mind is your greatest tool, and with the right mindset, you can overcome anything. Stay focused, stay disciplined, and keep pushing forward. The stronger your mind, the stronger your life will be. Thanks for tuning in, and keep working toward your goals. You've got this.